Yes, welcome back. See, you've come back from vacation, all that time you've taken off, ready to get down and dirty. I like that. Too much? Let's just get to coding. I do that. I got a couple of objectives here that I laid out for us to accomplish. It's not going to happen on this video, and I'm going to make it quick because I've done a couple of these now. I'm learning that talking is wasting time. So I pulled out the dependencies here. I have a bunch of tabs open, which will be helpful when we go through this. There's Apollo, there's the GraphQL, here's Babel, ESLint, Webpack, Node, Postgres, Connects, Koa, Jest, and Webpack Node externals. Don't worry about it. We'll go through it kind of. All right, so let's get into it. I'm going to be pulling from stuff here, but we're going to go through everything. So wherever you create a new project, go ahead and do it. I'm going to just call this demo app. Okay, and then just in a new repository, go ahead and put node modules into the git ignore. Okay, make sure you spell it right. Alright, and then let's go ahead and open this up, whatever code editor you're going to use. We don't need this anymore because it has one in here. Okay, so we got to git ignore. Don't forget, we need to init this project. So you can do, I'm going to do this in Yarn. You don't have to if you don't want to, but if you want to do it, all you have to do is replace Yarn with npm. Okay, so I think it's npm init. Answer yes to all those. Alright, we've got it in. Alright, so empty package JSON. And we're just going to go ahead and add all the dependencies right now, and then we'll go through each one of them when we start using them. Okay, so stick with me here. So I do yarn add or npm install, save dev. You want to save this in dev, is how you do it in yarn. Save -- dev. And we're going to do Axios, Babel core. I'm sure you can read down this list and do it too, okay? So just pause it if you need to, and get all these. Make sure you grab all of them. Transform, object, rest, spread. Babel preset ANV. If you go to Babel's website, you'll see that's the de facto package and explains why. If you're going to use it, don't use anything but that. So just add ESLint, okay? Don't add the config Airbnb base or the import. Just do ESLint loader and ESLint. The other ones will init in a second and they'll get added. Okay, Faker for mock data, Jest for testing, no daemon for continuous file watching and running, npm run all, Webpack, and Webpack node externals. Okay, add them all. If it's spelled wrong, you know, yep, I already spelled something wrong. I can see it. So let's just cancel that and go spell that right. I know this is probably going to drive you nuts too. Just deal with it. Okay, add them. And don't it might look like a lot, but this really isn't. That's all the dev dependencies right there. So I mean, if you look at it, this is really all the dependencies that are in production right here. It's outrageous. Okay, we're getting there. And believe it or not, Yarn actually speeds that process up. If it was npm install, it would have been a lot longer. So see, we got everything. If we forget anything, it'll throw errors. But let's go ahead and set up the Webpack configuration file now. So go make a new file in the root and do webpack config.js. Close these. We need to pull a path in because we're going to need to resolve some file paths. Okay. All right, and this is really kind of the bare bones you need right here. I'll just show you. Sorry, module.exports. Go ahead and set up an empty export. This is really kind of the bare bones right here. You need an entry point, which we're going to make a new directory called source and a file in there called JS. Okay, and then you need an output, and you give it a file name, what you want to call it, what's going to be output as, which I'm going to do server.js. And the directory, so actually it's path, Okay, and it would be path.resolve. Use dir name, so it gives you reference to the root directory. And we're gonna do plus, don't do the comma here, do plus with this. I think it'll make a stink if you don't. Expected. Okay, well, anyways, let's just go ahead. Yeah, that's not, it's throwing an error right now for some reason, but that's the minimum output you usually need for a Webpack build. So I am just going to copy this in here. Well, here, let's just do these two right here for now, so you can see that. All right. Okay. So you see that? That's your entry and your output. That right there would take anything that's in this index file, which we'll just go ahead and create. Make the new folder. There's your source directory. Okay. Just go ahead and drop an index in there. It's module based, so everything resolves into the index, and then do a start server function, because we're gonna wrap our server in a start server function. Okay. So just in your index, do a console log. We'll do hello world just to get our Webpack connected before we go on. All right. So just so you can see where we're at so far. Here's our Webpack configuration. Okay. Here's your source directory with index and a start server. All that's in index right now is hello world console log. Okay. We got our dependencies in there. We're not really utilizing any of them yet. So I'm gonna go ahead. You can pause this so you can see what's in this file. This is the rest of the file right here. So let's just copy this over. I don't believe in copy paste, Jeff. So type this out, okay? I'm just doing it to save time. Pause this, go line by line, go over to Webpack 2, and follow the getting started guide, just so you can understand it more than when you want to, okay? So if you save this file right now, you'll see that what it does first here is in the module, we have some rules where it enforces right here the ESLint, okay? So what we actually need to do is there's no ESLint file in here, so we need to first you can npm install global ESLint, and then you'll be able to use the command line tool ESLint --init, and that's the handy dandy little questionnaire that pops up. And we'll use a popular style guide. Okay, go to Airbnb. No, we're not using React, JavaScript. Okay, and that's going to actually extend Airbnb's stylist guide and give us all their configuration without plugging it into the project. But you can actually go look at their configuration on their repo if you want to learn more about what they're actually enforcing. But it'll tell you in the terminal, so don't worry about it. Okay, there's that setup. So now let's go ahead, dude, and let's try and get that console log to compile down in Webpack. Okay. So we're gonna add some scripts. All right, I usually just drop it right below this main right here. All right. So we're gonna need 3 for development mode. So we're gonna set up the development mode right now. So we're gonna say that we have a dev build script, okay, which this is gonna be our Webpack call. All right. So you call Webpack, and you want to see the progress output in the terminal. We also want to see colors, so there's a little separation, and then we'll do a watch on here actually, so that anytime there's a change, it'll do another build and it'll rebuild it, so that we have up-to-date changes. Okay, then we're going to do dev start, all right, which is going to be our no daemon. All right, and then we're going to put an execute flag on there, and inside of single quote strings, we're going to do node, and we're going to do it to the directory with the compiled server, so that we actually have the minified server running. All right, and then we're going to do finally dev, just dev, and in here we're going to do npm that package run all right here, and we're going to do a parallel flag. So what it's going to do after we specify the pattern in the file, which is dev semicolon whatever comes after it, which is these 2 scripts right here, build and start. See? So once you run dev, it's actually going to run these 2 scripts, and then we'll have the ability to kind of edit files live and then reload and see them change instantly with a new build and know that it's bundled. So let's try to run that dev script. Unexpected error occurred, unexpected token, so I might, what, yarn arrow demo, where is this unexpected token you speak of? Okay, scripts. Position 97. Okay. I came on there, so the dev. Alright, sorry, I'm just looking to see. Why don't we, like I said, I don't want to, oh boy. Well, you wanted me to debug, so I'm going to, but this is the only video you're getting today. Alright, so let's see, why did we get that? So what if I just do yarn dev build? Okay, so it is this, it's those Y's right there. See, thank you, linting. Was that it? Yeah, okay, that's better. npm run all not found. Got him right here. Dash mail parallel. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. Maybe we need to put that in. Regular dependencies. I don't know, let's give that a shot. I'll just put this in the regular dependencies and see if that makes a difference. Alright, now start it. Seems like it was it for some reason. So now it's building. So at first it's going to find an error because that server wasn't compiled yet. There was no build in the dist directory yet. But you can see actually then it said, oh, a file changed. Let's re-kick no daemon. And then it restarted, built it. Here it is. And then it's running. Oh, you see that? Hey, look. Check this out in terminal. Hello world. Node man. Yeah, so if we go over to the index, watch this. You should see it. Add another exclamation point. Save it. Boom. Look at that. See that? And here's our ESLint kicking in right here. Awesome. We have a warning. Unexpected console log. So with that, I'll show you there's a nifty little thing. Anytime you run into an error that you don't want to handle with ESLint, you can do ESLint disable line in a comment and then do whatever the name. So I think it was no console actually. No console. Save it and then look at your terminal again. Bam. No errors. Hello world clean. Alright, cool. Stop it. Get status. See that? Let's add it all. Let's call that our initial commit. Okay. We got Webpack working and ESLint connected. Let's go ahead and just configure the test environment. Now, like I said, if there's any questions on the package JSON with this, go look at Webpack's website. You do target the node environment with this, and this sets the context of dir name so that when it's compiled, you can access it in the compiled minified file. Same with these being set. And so you have access to traversing directories. Otherwise, if you didn't, you would get a lot of errors trying to require packages. Like I said, the rules, this is where you can test what files. You can do CSS and Sass in here too. We'll go through adding Sass and CSS loaders, but this is where you would add it, is in the module with the rules. So right here, you see this rule. The first rule was we're enforcing it pre, so this is the first one to run on anything for the compiler. So we're testing all the JS extensions with this regex pattern. We're excluding the node modules, so that, we don't want all the node modules in there to be linted and ran either. And we're using that ESLint loader. Some here, regex every JS extension, and we're using the Babel loader. This lets us do the import and export syntax that you'll see in a little bit. Ignoring the node modules as well, and then we're actually setting a preset with this env. So this presets and this plugins, something you'll see a lot with Webpack, but presets is what we're gonna use. That Babel preset env was, and that this is what is all the up-to-date ES6, ES7 syntax that is community supported right now and out of the box with Babel. We're adding this plugin, transform object rest spread, to get that spread syntax that you see later, and go over more what that does and how it works. The externals and node externals, this function right here is just from this plugin right here. This what it does essentially, I'm still learning myself, but it takes all the modules in for Koa and everything and puts them into the minified file so that you can run the regenerator functions that we'll show you in a second. Right. So let's just add this test. It's a small thing for the test configuration. So I'm just gonna, here, I'll just type it because it's not a lot. All right. So come right below the dependencies right here. Okay. Comma do just. This is where you set your configuration. Right? So you set the test environment because typically Jest is mostly used to test the front end. So they have JS DOM built into it because they wanted to pull the browser environment into the node environment. So that you could do things like texting against document and a body and find DOM elements inside of this Jest framework, right? Environment, Jest environment. Okay, so we need to get rid of this comma. Yeah. No, we need that comma. Okay. And then we need to, for this, I'll show you why in a second, that we're going to force coverage mesh. What this lets you do is specify any amount of file type and nested directories and what the extension is for your test name. So a lot of conventions are .spec.js or .test.js. The reason I did this, you'll see in a second, is if you nest anything under just conventional folder with the double dunder, the double underscores, it'll grab it no matter what it's named. So I did that just in case you want to throw tests anywhere else. You can just put a .spec on it and it'll get included in the test suite when it runs through. Little workaround I came up with myself. Okay, so we set this global right here, and this what this does. This is for code coverage, which used to be a pain in the ass to set up with any code base. And it was something called Istanbul, was a code coverage printer that you see. But right here, you can set the thresholds for everything. So we're saying on our statements we want at least 50% on code branches, which I'm still learning what all these are. We want 50 functions. Okay, we want 50. And then our lines, we want 75. And these are just the thresholds. Make sure you do that right for JSON. These are just thresholds for the testing. These are the limits that we're going to set. And this is literally the configuration. So this right here takes out the entire JS DOM project. It's a massive project, so this speeds it up almost, or cuts it in half by half. All right. So take a look at that again. I'm pretty sure that this can be in the dev dependencies. I don't know why that was a problem, but for now we'll just keep it in the dependencies and see if we can't troubleshoot that later. But yeah, right now we'll go ahead and actually just add a start script too, man. So add the typical start script, which is going to be node dist server.js, because that's where our server file is now. All right. So with that, you can run yarn. So we actually need to add another script. So let's just go ahead and do it above here. We'll call it test right there. All right. And we'll do jest. Literally all you run is jest. Since we did set the coverage options, just run coverage with this flag coverage right here. And it'll get this. Watch, you'll see yarn test with coverage. So you can see there's no test match. There's no test files yet, but we did get just to run and look for it. So that's the testing environment configured. That's all you need to do to configure it. Okay. So there's that again. Pause it, look over it if you need to. Otherwise, so far we have the Webpack configured. We have it compiling our index right now, not for a production bundle. We have ESLint configured in here, and it's pretty smooth. So we don't need this error log that happened because of that npm run thing. So you can delete that. All right, that's it. We'll get into setting up the COA server and the GraphQL schema in the next video.